You can't focus. You're tired all the time, even though you're sleeping. You start projects but never finish them. You know you're capable of more, but you can't seem to access it. Here's what nobody's telling you. Your brain is fried. Not from stress, not from overwork, from dopamine, specifically from the constant cycle of instant gratification that's rewired your reward system and killed your motivation. For thousands of years, warriors, monks, and high performers practiced sexual discipline, not because of superstition, but because they understood something we've forgotten. Discipline in one area builds discipline everywhere. Today, we're exploring the 90-day challenge. What actually happens when you stop chasing easy dopamine and start rebuilding your brain's reward system? This isn't about shame. It's not about morality. It's about freedom. The freedom to choose your actions instead of being controlled by your impulses. Let's break down what's really happening in your brain, what the science shows, and how 90 days can completely change your relationship with desire, discipline, and your own potential. Let's start with what's actually broken. Your brain has a reward system. It's designed to motivate you toward things that help you survive and thrive: food, connection, achievement. This system runs on dopamine, a neurotransmitter that creates motivation, focus, and the drive to pursue goals. Here's the problem. Your brain can't tell the difference between real achievement and artificial stimulation. When you eat, dopamine spikes a little. When you accomplish something meaningful, dopamine spikes more. When you use porn, massive, unnatural dopamine flood, way beyond what your brain was designed to handle. And here's where it gets worse. Your brain adapts. When you flood your system with dopamine regularly, your brain downregulates dopamine receptors to protect itself. It's like turning down the volume because the music is too loud. The result? Normal things stop feeling rewarding. Talking to a real person feels boring compared to infinite novelty online. Working toward a goal feels pointless because the dopamine payoff is too far away and too small. You need bigger hits more frequently just to feel normal. This is called dopamine desensitization, and it's why you can't focus, can't finish things, and feel like you're stuck in low gear. Studies on porn users show this clearly. Frequent porn consumption is associated with reduced gray matter in the brain's reward center, decreased activation in response to sexual images over time, and weaker connectivity between the reward system and the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making and self-control. You're not weak, you're not broken. Your reward system is dysregulated. And the way to fix it is to stop flooding it with artificial dopamine and let it reset. That's what the 90-day challenge is really about. A dopamine detox that allows your brain to recalibrate what normal feels like. Now, let's talk about why this practice has existed for thousands of years. Spartan warriors practiced sexual abstinence before battle. Shaolin monks incorporated it into their training. Ancient Greek athletes avoided sex during competition. Boxers in the 20th century famously abstained before big fights. Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, and others swore by it. Did they believe semen was life essence? Many of them did. That was their framework. But here's what they were actually experiencing: the benefits of impulse control and redirected energy. When you practice discipline in something as fundamental and powerful as sexual desire, you build a kind of willpower that transfers to everything else. It's not magic. It's neurology. Every time you feel an urge and choose not to act on it, You're strengthening your prefrontal cortex, your brain's executive function center. You're literally training the part of your brain responsible for long-term thinking, delayed gratification, and self-control. The ancient warriors weren't conserving mystical energy. They were training their ability to choose discomfort over impulse, and that skill made them formidable in every area of life. Modern psychology backs this up. Studies on self-control show that discipline in one domain improves self-regulation in others. It's called willpower transfer. Master your impulses in one area, and you get better at resisting temptation everywhere. So when someone from an ancient tradition says sexual discipline gives you power, they're not wrong. They're just using different language to describe the same neurological phenomenon we can now measure in a lab. So what actually happens when you stop? Let's break down the 9-0-day timeline based on what we know about neuroplasticity, dopamine system recovery, and what thousands of men have documented. Week 1-2. Withdrawal. This is the hardest part. Your brain is used to easy dopamine. When you cut it off, you go through withdrawal. You'll feel irritable, anxious, restless. You'll have strong urges. You might not sleep well. This isn't a sign you're doing something wrong. It's a sign your brain is recalibrating. Dopamine receptors are starting to upregulate, meaning your brain is becoming more sensitive to normal levels of dopamine again. But it takes time. What helps? Intense exercise, cold showers, being around people, keeping your hands and mind busy. Anything that gives your brain natural dopamine. Week 3-4, the flat line. This is what the community calls the flat line, and it freaks people out. Your libido crashes. You feel no desire. You might feel emotionally numb or depressed. This is your brain recalibrating to baseline. You're not broken, you're resetting. Studies on dopamine recovery show this dip is normal. Your brain is adjusting to the absence of supernormal stimuli. It feels flat because normal now registers as underwhelming. Push through. This phase passes. Week 5-8. Clarity returns. This is where most people start noticing real changes. You can focus longer. Tasks that used to feel impossible to start are suddenly manageable. You have more energy, not because you're conserving anything, but because you're not spending 30 to 60 minutes a day in a dopamine crash after artificial stimulation. You start finishing things. Your motivation system is coming back online. Social interactions feel better. Real people become interesting again because your brain isn't comparing them to endless novelty. This is dopamine sensitivity returning. Week 9-12, the breakthrough. This is where the discipline transfer kicks in hard. You've proven to yourself that you can control one of the strongest biological drives you have. That proof changes how you see yourself. Challenges in other areas, diet, work, fitness, start feeling more manageable. You've built the muscle of impulse control, and it generalizes. Many people report a kind of mental clarity or edge that wasn't there before. Not because of magic, because you've removed a major source of dopamine dysregulation and cognitive drain from your life. Your confidence increases not because of mystical energy, but because you've done something hard and you know it. Day 90 and beyond, the reset. By 90 days, your dopamine system is significantly recovered. Your brain has adapted to normal levels of stimulation. This doesn't mean you'll never feel desire again. It means you'll have a choice in how you respond to it. Some people continue indefinitely. Others reintroduce sexuality in a healthy, intentional way, with real partners, not screens. The point isn't to never experience sexual release. The point is to break the compulsive cycle and reclaim your agency. Let's be clear about what benefits are real and why. Energy and motivation. Real. Not because you're conserving life force, but because you're not experiencing the post-dopamine crash that follows artificial stimulation. You're also not wasting 30 to 90 minutes a day in a behavioral loop. Mental clarity. Real. When your brain isn't in a constant dopamine-seeking mode, your prefrontal cortex, responsible for focus and decision-making, gets stronger. You're removing cognitive load. Confidence. Real. Confidence comes from doing hard things. You're proving to yourself daily that you can control your impulses. That evidence changes your self-concept. Better social interactions. Real. When your reward system isn't hijacked by supernormal stimuli, normal human interaction becomes rewarding again. Eye contact, conversation, and connection release dopamine naturally, but only if your receptors are sensitive enough to feel it. Physical changes like more energy and better sleep. Mixed. Some is placebo, some is real behavioral change. You're not staying up late. You're exercising more because you have the discipline. You're not in a shame energy spiral. Magnetic attraction, or women can sense it. This one's tricky. There's no evidence of pheromones or energy fields, but confident body language, direct eye contact, and not being in a shame spiral, those are real, and people respond to them. Here's the bottom line. The benefits are real. The mechanism is neurological and psychological, not mystical. You're not gaining superpowers. You're removing what was making you weak. All right, let's talk strategy, because willpower alone won't get you through this. Rule 1. No porn, no masturbation, no edging. This has to be absolute. If you edge, if you stimulate without release, you're still flooding your brain with dopamine and reinforcing the neural pathways you're trying to break. Cold turkey is the only way to reset the system. Rule 2. Replace the behavior. You're not just stopping something, you're filling the space it occupied. When you feel the urge, do 20 push-ups, take a cold shower, go for a walk, call a friend, work on a project. Your brain is seeking dopamine. Give it a healthy source. Rule 3. Avoid triggers. Delete social media apps if you need to. Install blockers. Don't test yourself. This isn't about shame. It's about being strategic. You're in a vulnerable state for 30 to 60 days. Don't make it harder than it has to be. Rule 4. Track your progress. Use a calendar. Mark every day you complete. Seeing the streak grow gives you motivation and makes the cost of breaking it higher. There's a reason communities use day counters. Accountability and visible progress matter. Rule 5. Find your why. You need a reason bigger than I should. Is it to finish the project you keep abandoning? Is it to show up differently in your relationships? Is it to prove to yourself that you're in control of your life? Write it down. Look at it on day 15 when you're struggling. Rule 6. Prepare for the flat line. When week 3 to 4 hits and you feel nothing, remember, this is part of the process. Don't panic. Don't test yourself to see if it still works. Trust the reset. Rule 7. Build external accountability. Tell someone you trust, or join a community like nofap or other support groups. When you're accountable to someone else, you're far more likely to follow through. Here's what this challenge is really about. It's not about sex. It's not about becoming some hyper-masculine ideal. It's about agency. Most men today are controlled by their impulses. They eat when they crave. They scroll when they're bored. They seek pleasure when they're uncomfortable. And then they wonder why they can't do hard things. The 90-day challenge is training for life. It's proof that you can feel a powerful urge and choose not to act on it. That you can sit with discomfort and not run. That you can delay gratification for a goal that matters. Every ancient tradition that practiced this understood. Control over desire is control over destiny, not because of magic, because discipline compounds. When you master your sexual impulses, you prove to yourself that you're capable of mastering anything. And that belief, backed by evidence, changes everything. You start to see yourself differently, as someone who finishes what they start, as someone who does hard things, as someone who isn't controlled by base drives. That shift in identity is worth more than any mystical benefit anyone's ever claimed. So here's the truth. The 90-day challenge won't give you superpowers. It won't make you magnetic or unlock hidden potential, but it will do something better. It will show you that you're not a slave to your impulses. It will reset your dopamine system so normal life feels rewarding again. It will build the kind of discipline that transfers to every goal you've been putting off. And it will prove, through evidence you can't deny, that you're capable of doing hard things. The ancient warriors were right, not because of the reasons they believed, but because the practice builds something real. Not mystical life force, but something just as powerful. Self-mastery. And in a world designed to keep you distracted, addicted, and weak, self-mastery is the most radical thing you can build. The 90 days start now, not tomorrow, not Monday. Now, are you in? If you're taking the challenge, drop a comment with your start date. Lock it in publicly. If you've already done 30, 60, or 90 days, share what actually changed for you. Your experience could be what someone else needs to hear. And if you want a step-by-step guide on navigating the hard days, I've created a full breakdown. Link in the description. Subscribe if you're serious about building the kind of discipline that changes everything. This is how you stop being controlled and start being free. Now go prove it to yourself.